Two badminton teams submit equipment lists for the season. The women's team needs 16 rackets, 28 birdies, and 8 uniforms. The men's team needs 12 rackets, 18 birdies, and 7 uniforms. Each racket costs $45, each birdie costs $1, and each uniform costs $28. Write inventory and cost per item matrices. Then use matrix multiplication to write a total cost matrix. An inventory matrix is simply a matrix that lists the things that are needed. Okay, we generally will use rows and columns for our different objects and the place that they need to be. Which in this case is we have rackets, birdies, and uniforms, and we've got two different teams that need them: women's and men's teams. So if I'll do rows, the women's team and the men's team, and then our columns will be our rackets, birdies, and uniforms. So the women's team needs 16 rackets, 28 birdies, and 8 uniforms. And the men's team needs 12 rackets, 18 birdies, and 7 uniforms. So this here is what's called our inventory matrix. Let's go ahead and move that down a little bit. This is our inventory matrix. Okay. Then our cost per item matrix. Cost per item matrix. This is now important, the way we organize this. Okay. If we want to multiply the matrices, we know that if you have an m by n matrix and you want to multiply by this, that this is going to have to be n by something, okay, n by something. So notice that the column number here matches the row number here, and the organization has to match the same way as well. So the columns here are the rackets, birdies, and uniforms. That means that needs to be the rows over here. So rackets, birdies, and uniforms. Okay. And so, well, the cost per racket is $45, per birdie is $1, and per uniform is $28. Okay. And of course this is the amount needed. The amount the cost. So cost. And this is of course by 1 and by 1 here. But now we can multiply the inventory and cost per item, and because these match, okay, when we multiply them, they'll cancel. We'll essentially get rid of those, and we'll end up with an m by 1. In other words, men's by cost. Okay, and so we're going to end up with women's and men's, and then cost. Now to multiply, we know how to do that. We're going to take the row and multiply by the column. Okay, we multiply, and I'll do that work here on the side. 16 times 45 plus, and then the 28 times 1, and then plus the 8 times 28. Okay, and then likewise for the second entry, the second row, multiply by that column, so 12 times 45 plus, and then 18 times 1, and plus 7 times 28. And so multiplying these out give us our costs. So we have our 972, and this next one gives us 754. And that's how we get our total cost matrix due to using the inventory and the cost per item matrices.